If you want to make more money as a tax sale investor, it's very simple. You must become a better investor, and that typically means becoming a smarter investor. Sure, time and experience does help with those things, but I got a few ideas for you today that you can begin to implement right away, regardless of how much experience you have. First off, before you start, my name is Casey Denman. I've been investing in tax liens and tax deeds for well over 2 decades now, and I've been training others for more than a dozen years through my videos, books, and the comprehensive training platform that I operate for my members at taxsaleacademy.com. All right, so you want to make more money with tax sales. What is the best way to do that? It's to become a better investor. I know it's not rocket science. There are a number of things that you can put into action that will help you on your path to become a better tax sale investor, which means making more money. And these aren't going to be me telling you that you must work until your fingers fall off, skip every meal, go, go, go type mentality. That will lead you to burnout, and you will plateau at some point, and you will likely be out of this business shortly. In today's episode, I want to discuss with you 5 ways that you can approach your business different that will make you a better tax sale investor, which most importantly is going to make you more money. A few things to focus on, a few strategies and a few ideas that hopefully you can put these into your business and see an improvement very, very quickly. Let's get right to it. I've always given the example of the person who attends one auction a year compared to the person who attends one auction every single day. The person that goes to an auction every single day is going to make a whole heck of a lot more money. It's that simple. Now, that is, of course, taking it to this extreme, and I'm not here to tell you that you need to go to more auctions. I've told you that plenty of other times in this podcast. Increasing volume is a great way to make more money, but it does require some skill. More specifically, it requires you to do more with less time. What's the best way to do that? Efficiency. I remember a friend of mine who got into this business a number of years back. He literally spent 3 hours one time researching a property, a single property. Obviously, you are not going to get far with that approach. When it comes to research, it's pretty simple. Learn to do it correctly first. Learn how to do accurate research first. Learn how to research what you need to research, and then your next step needs to learn how to do it efficiently. The more properties you research, the more properties you will potentially be interested in, which means the more properties you'll buy and the more money you make. Develop a process for yourself. I teach about this inside the Tax Sale Academy. I think I got a few videos on this in my YouTube channel, but you should approach it as a big research filter or a big research funnel. Have all the correct tabs that you need open in your browser. Look at that tax sale list. Right off the bat, when you look at that list, eliminate those tiny strips of land by learning how to read legal descriptions. For the rest, copy and paste that parcel number into, say, the tax assessor's website. Learn how to do a very quick scan of some key stuff that you can then remove properties you don't want or properties you won't be interested in for whatever reason. And then you'll continue moving forward throughout the rest of the research steps, and you'll just keep going that process. The whole idea here is to dig deeper and deeper with you spending as little time as possible researching the properties you will not be buying. Ideally, if you can spend 2-3 seconds going through a lot of the properties, a big chunk of that list, and filtering them out, that's what you want to do. You want to get to that efficiency. Now, beyond research, become efficient through all avenues of your business. Develop your checklist, your processes, your workflows to get you to the point where it's mostly a step-by-step process that you're following. That way, nothing is missed, no time is wasted. You just go down your list. And this is something we actually provide to our Tax Sale Academy members. The most successful people in the world and the most successful businesses in the world are incredibly efficient. Learn to be efficient, and I promise you, your business is going to grow exponentially. The next one is to eliminate risky deals. And to a degree, this goes back to learning how to be efficient. What I find is that a lot of times the frustration that people have is what pushes them into entering these risky deals, right? Instead of becoming efficient and learning how to research more properties and choosing better properties, they simply start buying junk. They go to one or two auctions, they don't see success, they say, okay, you know what, I'm going to buy the next property. And then they, tend to not research it as deep as they should be researching it, and before you know it, they bought something they shouldn't have purchased. They can't sell it, or they have other unforeseen issues with it. But we have to remember, we're in the business of investing. Our business is putting $1 into something and getting more than $1 back out. If we don't do that, well, we're not doing a good job. It's as simple as that. And the great thing here is that we aren't investing in stocks. We aren't investing in things that fluctuate based on thousands of different factors. We're talking real estate. Outside of perhaps a total overnight economic meltdown, you can determine your risk ahead of time through the proper research because you know the size, the location, the history, the usability, the general condition, the value of that property. You can find all this information out about the property before you purchase it. This isn't a buy and then hope it works out type scenario. No, instead, you're doing all this work up front. This is a buy only if it makes the most sense financially. Will I make money? If the answer is yes, then buy. Is there a chance that I lose money? If the answer is yes, then you skip it. And side note here, if your margins are so razor thin that if one tiny little thing goes wrong and you would lose money, then you shouldn't have bought that property in the first place. There are thousands and thousands of properties sold every single day, so don't force yourself into something. Also, with all that said, if you want to invest in something that you think you can magically make work, feel free to. Just view it as gambling instead. I've made those gambles on investments in the past. Sometimes they work out, sometimes they don't, right? Maybe it'll work. Maybe that landlocked property that you buy for $100 will have an adjoining landowner that'll sell you an easement. Maybe that lighthouse that you're thinking about purchasing makes a very cool Airbnb. I get it. Stuff like that can be exciting at times, but don't view that as your business. View that as high-risk type gambling. View that as side money you're essentially throwing into the wind, hoping that it sticks. But for your core business, you need to focus on winning. Focus on not losing a dime, and focus on making money with every single investment and stay out of that risky stuff. The next one, learn the laws and learn the processes. I'm here to help teach you right now, along with 1,000+ other videos, hundreds of podcast episodes, a book, an entire training academy to help you learn everything possible so I can make this business easier for you. There are also state law resources. There's county frequently asked questions. There's county employees you can call. There's attorneys you can consult with, and there's other investors that you can lean on. But whatever you do, please don't just start buying properties without knowing what you are doing. Remember what I said? If you want to be a more successful investor, you need to be a smarter investor. The smart investor doesn't just go out there and start buying stuff without knowing what they were doing. I had a guy just this morning tell me he bought 7 properties, but then he realized he thinks maybe they're all unbuildable, and he asked me what I would do if I was in his situation. Or I had another person email me yesterday, ask me what they should do about title insurance because he just found out on the day of closing that they could not get title insurance for the property, and he's trying to figure out how to backtrack and how to solve that issue. These are things that I teach, that I talk about to exhaustion. Put in the work now. Put in the work ahead of time. Put in the work to continually make sure that you know your laws. You know the process. You know the typical way of doing things before you start buying stuff. This will save you years of aggravation, wasted time, and a lot of wasted money. And oh, by the way, this stuff, it does change from time to time, from state to state, and from county to county. So make sure you stay up to date on it. My next suggestion here is if you want to make more money, you need to treat it like a business. This is a business. Now, it might not be a typical 9-to-5 where you sell widgets all day, but it is 100% a business, and you must treat it as such. You must have structure. Now, maybe you research properties and you place your bids every day at 11 p.m. That's good with me. Doesn't matter what time you do it as long as you have structure. Develop some sort of structure to the hours that you work. Develop some sort of structure to the processes you use, to the strategies you use, to the marketing methods that you use. All those kinds of things need to have structure. Talk to CPAs and attorneys to determine the best way to set up your entity, which will typically be an LLC for a lot of people. Have business bank accounts. File all the tax returns you need to file timely. Write off the stuff that you should be writing off. Don't allow distractions to get in your way. There is so much to operating a business far outside of just buying and selling properties, and I've only spelled out just a few aspects of it. But the point of mentioning this is that you're going to go much, much further when you treat this business with respect compared to the guy who randomly just browses listings hoping that he can make a few bucks when he stumbles across a property this month. I've seen both of those types of people. I have both those types of people in the Tax Sale Academy, regardless of how much I preach about this topic. And I promise you, if you're the one that treats it like a business, you're the one that will grow it like a business should grow. And the last one I'll leave you with today is to find a rhythm. Find momentum in your business. What I mean by this is almost a combination of everything else that we've discussed up to this point. As you work your way through your business, develop processes, strategies, procedures, ways of you doing things in your business that allow you to get into a workflow. You should be able to look at a tax sale list and just start researching that list. Boom, boom, boom. Knock off the properties you don't want. And then the properties you do want, hone in on those. Determine your max bid amounts, input those bids, move on. Keep moving down that list. That's what you should be able to do. Find that rhythm. You should not bounce from this place to that place to this place, hoping you stumble across an investment, because it does not work like that. I find that I can get 10 times more work done if I'm in a state of focus and if I'm able to find that rhythm with what I'm doing compared to just bouncing around from one property to the next, from one market to the next, hoping I stumble on something good. We live in a time where distractions are everywhere. I get it. But if we're able to combat those distractions by finding a work rhythm, it's going to allow us to go much, much further, much, much faster. You know, it's easy to start something, but what happens when life gets in the way? I get it. Sick children, we might get sick. We have doctor's appointments. Things pop up, whatever it is. If you hit a roadblock, if you hit a rough spot, I find far too often what many people do, especially the newer investors, is that when something distracts them, they lose all momentum. That rhythm that I was just talking about, they can't find it again. If you are distracted, if life gets in the way, that's okay. I get it. So as long as you work to regain your momentum as quickly as possible, as long as you get back in front of the computer, you get back in front of that tax list, you get back in front of, the places you need to go, whether it's doing the drive-bys or going to the courthouse or inputting the bids, whatever it is, you get back to that point as quickly as possible. And you work yourself back into that rhythm. Again, you don't want to be that person that's unfocused, because that person usually does not make a whole lot of money. The more time you take off, the more time you remove yourself out of the tax sale business, the more time you're away from that work rhythm, the more ground you will lose. Keep pushing forward, do something every day, and keep your momentum. It's huge in this business, and honestly, it's huge in every business. Listen, that's all I've got for today. I truly hope this episode has helped you out. If you enjoyed this podcast episode or any episodes here on the Tax Sale Podcast, please do me a huge favor. Please take just a couple of seconds out of your day to leave a positive feedback comment or click that thumbs up button or leave a 5-star review. And as always, if we can provide any additional help, there's a whole bunch of links in today's show notes, including one in my book, Tax Sale Playbook, which you can get at taxsalebook.com, or you can join the Tax Sale Academy, the most comprehensive tax sale training that we offer. Hey, take care, folks, and make it a successful day. Bye-bye.